Reporters barred for second day of EPA summit. The Environmental Protection Agency, EPA, barred reporters from attending the second day of its event on drinking water pollution. Journalists from the Associated Press, Politico and other outlets said EPA staff at the agency's Washington, D.C., headquarters blocked them from entering. Administrator Scott PruittEdward, Scott PruittDem senator presses EPA over reporter intimidation. Overnight finance. House sends Dodd-Frank rollbacks to Trump. What's in the bill? Trump says there is no deal to help CTE. Panel approves bill to toughen foreign investment. Reviews overnight energy. Pruitt spent at least $600 to decorate office. EPA backtracks and lets reporters into summit after criticism. White House to look into incident. Moore's National Leadership Summit on per and polyfluoroalkyl substances, PFAS, on Wednesday. EPA communication staff had told news outlets in advance that the sessions would be closed to journalists. Decision to ban reporters follows a high-profile incident Tuesday in which an EP reporter, Ellen Nickmeyer, was allegedly shoved by an EPA guard when she tried to enter the event. Nickmeyer and journalists for Those journalists then went to the EPA headquarters to demand entry. The EPA later apologized to Nickmeyer and allowed journalists to enter for the afternoon session Tuesday. EPA spokesman John Wilcox defended the decision to bar reporters entirely from Wednesday's session, saying it isn't a meeting covered by the Federal Advisory Committee Act, FACA, or otherwise appropriate for media attendance. The National Leadership Summit on PFAS scheduled is not a Federal Advisory Committee event, he said in a statement. The purpose of this event is for EPA's state, tribal, and federal government partners and national organizations to share a range of individual perspectives on the agency's actions to date and path forward on PFA. The agency looks forward to hearing from all stakeholders on these crucial issues. Hold on, some news outlets, though, have argued that the meeting is subject to FACA, a law that puts certain transparency requirements on organized councils or events that agencies convene to solicit advice. Among other requirements, meetings covered by FACA must be open to the public. FACA states that any committee, board, commission, council, conference, panel, task force, or other similar group, or any subcommittee or other subgroup meant to provide an agency advice is covered. Dems aren't pleased. Democratic lawmakers once again slammed EPA for closing the session. I can't believe I have to say this 2 days in a row, but at EPA works for the American people. Sen. Tom Carper Richard Carper Senate panel unanimously approves water infrastructure bill. Silicon Valley, Facebook, Google struggle to block terrorist content. Cambridge Analytica declares bankruptcy in U.S. company exposed phone location data. Apple starts paying back taxes to Ireland. Overnight energy. Pruitt taps man behind lock her up. Chant for EPA office. Watchdog to review EPA email policies. 3 Republicans join climate caucus. Moore, Dell, top Democrat on the Environment and Public Works Committee, tweeted Wednesday. Timothy Kildee. Lawmakers launch Free Thought Congressional Caucus. House votes to advance 3T Omnibus. Watch. Dem Rep presses to change conversation on guns. Moore, D. Mish, said his staff was also denied entry. Pruitt's lack of transparency and willingness to deny access to members of Congress and the media is deeply troubling, he wrote. Kildee represents the town of Flint, which was hit with its own drinking water crisis 4 years ago. Why the controversy matters. This week should have been a very positive story for the EPA. Pruitt and his staff are committing to certain steps to confront the PFAS crisis, and though environmental and health advocates wanted more, EPA could nonetheless promote the actions as a big step. But instead, the agency has been getting significant attention and blowback for how it's handling press access. Happy Wednesday. Welcome to Overnight Energy, the Hill's roundup of energy and environment news. Please send tips and comments to Timothy, T@thehill.com, and Miranda Green, mgreen@thehill.com. Follow us on Twitter, @Timothy, @Miranda Green, @The Hill. Thankfully most Hill reporters take the metro to work, but as more Americans are feeling the pain at the pump, members of Congress are starting to point fingers at the White House. Senate Dems blame Trump for gas prices. Senate Democratic leader Charles Schumer Chuck Ellis Schumer Trump should take Kim Jong-un off trip. Cohen overnight finance. Trump signs repeal of auto loan policy. Justices uphold contracts that bar employee class action suits. U.S.-China trade war on hold. Free traders applaud Trump as China tariff threat recedes. More. NY is ripping the White House over high gas prices, arguing President Trump. Donald John Trump scenes Zucker. Trump secretly watching CNN all day and night. GOP candidate behind deportation bus loses in gubernatorial bid. Penn to Hewitt, Mueller probe born out of hysteria. Moore's decision to withdraw from the Iran nuclear deal is putting a pinch on middle-class wallets, according to energy analysts and experts. President Trump's reckless decision to pull out of the Iran deal has led to higher oil prices, Schumer said at a press conference held at an Exxon filling station on Capitol Hill, where a gallon of regular costs $3.89. These higher oil prices are translating directly to soaring gas prices, something we know disproportionately hurts middle and lower-income people, Schumer said. Schumer initially opposed the nuclear deal, which was negotiated between Iran and the United States, Britain, Germany, France, China and Russia, as well as the European Union, during the Obama administration. But like other former opponents of the pact, such as Sens. Rand Paul Howard Paul Gop Senate primary heats up in Montana. Sarah Sanders. Democrats are losing their war against women in the Trump administration. Kentucky Dems look to vault themselves in deep red district. More. Our Kentucky. And Jeff Flake Jeff Lane Flake. Republicans think Trump is losing trade war on Trump and DOJ. Both liberals and conservatives are missing the point. Pressure rising on GOP after Trump DOJ fights latest turn. More. Rees. He opposed Trump pulling out of the deal once it became established. Schumer criticized Trump's decision to withdraw from the agreement last month. We've got more on the fight over gas prices here. Massachusetts announces historic offshore wind contract. Massachusetts announced plans Wednesday to build a wind farm off the coast of Martha's Vineyard that will generate enough energy to power 400,000 homes. The state said Vineyard Wind will build a 800-megawatt offshore wind farm, the largest ever procurement of offshore wind by a state. Massachusetts residents are expected to start receiving energy from the state's first offshore wind farm by 2021, according to the Associated Press. Today's announcement brings the Commonwealth one step closer to achieving our administration's goals of creating a clean, reliable and cost-effective energy future for Massachusetts residents, and significantly reducing greenhouse gas emissions to combat climate change, the state's Gov. Charlie Baker, said in a statement. Massachusetts neighbor Rhode Island also signed a partnership with Deepwater Wind on Wednesday. The Rhode Island-based clean energy developer will build a 400-megawatt wind farm off the ocean state's coast. States must both negotiate a contract and get approval by the Massachusetts Department of Public Utilities to move forward with the construction. Read more about the deal here. On tap Thursday, the full Senate Appropriations Committee will vote on its energy and water spending bill for fiscal 2019. Outside the Beltway, the United Kingdom's government is proposing a bill that it says would be the most strict ivory ban in the world, The Independent reports. New Jersey Governor Phil Murphy, signed a bill into law to prop up the state's nuclear power plants, NJ.com reports. Anadarko Petroleum Corp. has reached a confidential settlement with the families of the victims of last year's home explosion in Firestone, Colo, CBS Denver reports. case you missed it, check out Wednesday's stories. Massachusetts announces historic offshore wind contract. Trump officials discussed whether to ignore climate data. Reports Senate Democrats look for traction on gas prices. EPA again bars reporters from water pollution event. Poll: nearly half of Americans aren't familiar with Pruitt controversies. NYC considers ban on disposable plastic straws.